Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Banished, with me, Aetium. This is a newer Let's Play series, which should hopefully update on Thursdays. If I haven't decided to put it on Thursdays, this is going to be hilarious. Well, it's going to be mildly entertaining and slightly embarrassing. And, yeah, these should be much shorter videos, only about half an hour long, if all goes well. So, as Banished is a much easier game to pick up and put down than Crusader Kings is, due to less need to chronicle elaborate life stories. So, Banished is an older game from, I believe, 2014. As you can see from the copyright there, it's last updated 2015, so it's quite an old. Yeah, it is an older game. It's about 3 years old, and it is functionally a less city building and more settlement building game. I think it owes less to Sim City and more to, say, the original Settlers games. I never actually played past the second Settlers game. I stopped playing that. I stopped playing the Settlers series shortly after Settlers 2 came out, and then tried to pick up. I think it was Settlers 7. And the constant internet connection and the fact that my computer at the time couldn't handle it combined to really put me off the series, sadly. But I find that they're a slightly minimalist game at times, but as is often the case with these largely one-man studios, such as Shining Rock Software here. I find that it does harken back to the simplicity of the original Settlers games and similars. So, yes, this is definitely based more around individual people going around doing their task. It's not as absurdly intricate as, say, Dwarf Fortress, but it does, have a degree of playability as a result. Now, what we'll be seeking to achieve with this playthrough is to try and achieve all of the achievements, because I never actually achieved any of the Banished achievements in my previous playthroughs. However, it is theoretically possible to complete all of the achievements in one map. Now, sorry, cough today. Now, some of the achievements have to be done in a certain order. For instance, one achievement requires you to have a fully educated population with 200 adults for 4 years, whereas the uneducated achievement requires you to reach 300 citizens without ever building schools. So naturally that's going to put, in order to achieve both of those in the same map, we're going to need to not build schools until we get to 300 citizens. Equally, we need to get to 400 citizens without any sort of advanced agriculture for the one with nature achievement. And I think it's the isolationist achievement. Yep, again 300 without building a trading post. That's going to get difficult. The initial settings for us are the Mountain Men setting, which gives us a harsh climate and a small mountainous map. And then on top of that, the Miner and Mason achievements are going to force us to sacrifice valuable space to mines and, worst of all, quarries. And once you've used up space in a quarry, you never get it back. Those things are going to be eyesores for years to come. But we'll see what we can do. Now, beginning a new game, I have a map seed I prepared earlier. Arguable as to whether you count that as cheating, but I did actually start recording this whole playthrough before, and fun with transitioning over to a new video editor, it all was ruined. So I'm going to use the same map as before, because frankly I got a little lucky, but not absurdly lucky. Now, here in the settings menu, we have lots of options. It's random names for a moment. I'm going to actually change a specific one I have in mind. We have various options we can start. If we wanted an extremely easy playthrough, we could begin in the valleys. We could have large terrain, a mild climate. I'm not even going to pretend disasters are ever going to get turned off, and easy starting conditions. And the difference is, in the easy starting conditions and all of this, this is a planned expedition. 6 families with a full series of tools and equipment, seeds and livestock have all come. They're not even the first wave. They're the second wave of colonists coming to settle these, the wide tracts of this open valley with lots of arable space in the lowlands where the climate's very mild. You get short winters. That's not how we're playing this game. In this, we end up in the mountains, which have the bastarding side effect that you get very little usable space. We're on a small map. Climate is harsh, which means long winters and likelihood of killing your crops off early with frosts, and our starting conditions will be hard. With the starting conditions of hard, you begin your game with 4 families. You have basically bugger all. This isn't the story of a planned settlement effort. This is Banished. So the last family, as well as the 3 other families that they found along the way, have fled from their home kingdom somewhere in Lower Germany, because judging from the climate and the trees and everything, this game appears to be set in medieval Germany. Somewhere in medieval Germany, particularly appropriate since the extreme balkanization of German states during that era, but that's by and by. So the last family were driven out of their kingdom and the farms that they had there when a neighbouring force invaded, burned down their homes, started to seize all of their livestock and everything, and generally cause a nuisance. They fled with what little they had, met up with a few other families along the way, managed to fashion a barely functioning raft to try and punt their way up the river, and then got caught in a storm. The raft broke. One of the 5 families of the families that they brought with them drowned, leaving them with 4 families instead of 5. All of the scant supplies they were able to bring together were destroyed, and they have no seeds, no livestock, and literally what they were carrying on their person to survive with. Unable to travel any further into or away from the mountains, they've been forced to set up camp in a desperate effort to survive in this strange, untamed wilderness. And because of the fear that the invaders from the nation that they came from will come and destroy them all, they've decided to be extremely isolationist and not have any contact with the outside world. They're too fearful of destruction. So, being as this is the one chance of survival, this will be the town, and I apologise, the town name doesn't allow me to use apostrophes. This will be the town of Last's Hope. Alright. Okay, so first things first, before I start setting up the menus, let's get a bit of a look at the territory. Am I on WASD? Yes, I am. Okay. So, we've got a reasonably good setup. Again, I know this, I put in the map key, so this isn't as much a surprise as the first time I found it, but it's still a small mountainous area. We don't have that much land, and as you can see, large swathes of it have been taken over by all of this unusable mountainous land. The land that we do have is separated into these small forested areas, the occasional bits of potentially arable land in the future. But look at all of this. All of this is useless. In a valleys map, that would be prime pasturable land for us. Now, as we can, we've emerged in a livable initial location. We have reasonable sets of resources. We're going to want to make our way towards the main river. We don't have any lakes on this map. That's more a feature of valley maps. But the river will provide us with sustenance in the form of fishing when we get there. Now, let's throw down some map. Okay, so event logs. I like to have that down there. I don't really care about the overhead map, but that's the mini map of the whole place. And I want to put job assignments over here. Now, for now, everybody is assigned as a labourer. So they do miscellaneous jobs like chopping wood that's been designated to be cleared, collecting stone and so on, and they're going to be doing a fair bit of that in the immediate future. So I don't need to change that just yet. Now, one of the things I want them to do just off the start, I don't need that much iron, but I'm going to set them to collecting that little amount there. The main expense for us is stone. Iron and stone are both non-renewable resources. Iron is useful for a number of things, particularly making tools, building certain buildings. But stone is useful for literally almost every building. I think, yeah, literally every building you build. Some more than others, but it is really one of the limiting factors of growth for us. Now, let me try and get this right. The things that will kill you off in Banished, well, first of all, the thing that will kill you off in Banished is winter. Like, that is the first thing that will kill you off, and it's probably the thing that is most likely to kill you off, full stop. So, I want to... Yeah, I'm going to sacrifice these trees for now. They're just going to cut those down to provide us with building materials. Once they've done that, I'm going to build... Let's lay down the plans for it at least. There's a nice even stretch. I'm not going to build a wooden bridge here. I just want to check that... Yeah, it's all... Sorry. Okay, so I'd want to build it about there-ish. Cool. Fine. Yep. So that bridge is going to cost me 24 wood, 6 stone. First things first, though, let's let our people gather. Now, they're moving quite slowly, but mercifully, we can speed up the time, and we'll be spending most of Banished time on ×10 speed. As we can see up here in our stocks, we have 8 adults, no students, 8 children, a handful of tools, some clothes, a little bit of wood, and a little bit of firewood. Subject of which, as is one of my standard opening moves in Banished, I'm just going to up the amount of food they collect to 30,000 as a limit. I want the people to always have food stores. It's fairly essential. In fact, in the interests of my own sanity for down the line, I'm going to set them to always have 20 food and tools and clothes. We're not going to need those yet, but we will eventually. Now, the things that were going to kill us come winter are primarily exposure and starvation. Exposure, we need buildings up. Starvation, we need food. But more than that, we need firewood. And that's probably going to be one of the most difficult things. So my priorities are almost shelter, shelter, food, firewood, in that order. It's still early spring, we're in an alright place right now. Yeah, that's that. That's fine. As soon as the... I think I might need to set up a little stockpile local to the... local to that bridge so that they can stockpile materials and then use them to build. I feel like a lot of these aren't being too useful. No, they're working, they're just kind of busy. That's fine. Yeah, I can see there's still lots for them to move, lots for them to chop down there. I really could use those builders getting that bridge up though, because I want to gain access to this land over here. As fairly urgently, I want to throw down the boarding house. Guys, can we kind of increase the priority of that? It's fairly important. You do need it. It's already late spring. I don't know why you're faffing about like this. Thank you. Speaking of getting your crap together, I'm going to slightly speed things up a bit. And throw down a gatherer's hut. Now this little orange radius is the area that the gatherer's hut will harvest from. Gatherers only harvest food from areas which are thick with forest. There's a few things we can do to mess around with that, make it more effective. For the moment, we're just going to get... how much wood do we have? We have 7 logs right now, 88 stone, almost no iron. It's not great, but there's a whole little bit of forest here that we're going to start cutting down, so it's not too much of a worry. Again, I just want to have a stockpile up and going. Okay, so we got a bridge. Awesome. Let's start by cutting down all of these trees. We need wood, and we need it now. In fact, I'm not too worried about cutting down certain trees, well ahead of time, because I have plans in mind for the future. Okay, so we've got wood coming up. Awesome. Let's throw down... There's a point. Where does that come out? Okay, that's where the dirt road comes out. Dirt roads are nice. They don't cost you any stone. They still marginally speed up traffic. And for me, I have the added benefit that they help me to work out where to place things. Such as this boarding house. Boarding houses are a very temporary solution to your housing crisis. Though not as temporary as the need I'm about to have for firewood. Okay, I can get a woodcutter down here. That's not a problem. Again, it's pretty temporary. I'm overworking my builders a little bit. We have... good. We have labourers joining up. I'm just going to take down builder choices. So I want to start by prioritising that. That needs to go first and foremost. Oh! Okay, I have gatherers functioning now. That's not bad. That's not half bad. I am going to need to work out a storehouse for those eventually in the near future. A gatherer's hut can't function entirely on its own. We also definitely need more logs, but that's fine. Long term, there's solutions to that. For now, I'll take short term solutions. Okay. Specifically, I want to try and get this bastard up before the end of winter. Sorry, before winter comes in, because everybody needs somewhere to sleep. Come on! Yeah, I know the reserve of logs is low. I'll throw down a couple of stockpiles just near the cutting areas just to make this faster. But it is utterly essential that we get these logs cut down now. Now I know I'm not going to use that area in the long term, so... Okay. Awesome. Early autumn. Boarding house is being built. It's nearly up. Cool. Right. We have gatherers trying to gather food, so that's not so much of a worry. I'm going to drop builders for a moment, though only for a moment. And that's only because I need them to start cutting more wood. I need labourers cutting wood wherever I can. Okay, I think I have people. Again, let's just throw down a quick stockpile for no other reason than I want them to be able to cut down wood and bring it pretty much straight away. Yeah, so that cold symbol means they don't have enough firewood. It's because they haven't got anything in there yet. Again, that's fine. Food's a true. Yeah, okay, so we've got early frosts coming in. That's not good. They're not nearly as not good as the problems with food and firewood. Okay, awesome. So, woodcutter. One woodcutter will be enough for now. We just need them to get as many logs as possible. It's all about just trying to survive. Yeah, that's actually pretty much it. It's just trying to survive. I'm going to throw down a storage barn here to make use of the builders we have. Because that's going to be essential to just storing food and other things. And then we want to get down a forester's lodge if we can. Forester's lodges are pretty essential actually. Yeah, one there should do. We're in luck, we've still got plenty of wood right now. That won't last, but it will be useful. Okay, there's enough firewood. There's just about enough to eat for however long that lasts. We're in a functioning place. If we can just get through to spring, I'll call that a successful first episode. If we can get to spring with nobody dying. That's the standard I'm working to here. Fun times. Oh, and just to make use of our... we've got all of these labourers at the moment. Let's use them. Awesome. Drop the builder, don't need him. Gonna have those foresters up soon as well. Cool, we've got a forester a forester who can work the forester's lodge. Let's throw down a few other things. We need someone to, ideally, who can... At this point, you only really tend to need one herbalist, I find. But it is worth having one herbalist. Just to gather additional support. But finally, because this is why we got to the damn river, there's another thing we can use, and that is the fishing dock. Now, ideally, the best place for a fishing dock is somewhere like that, where you can get an excellent sort of spread of the river. And I probably will when we can afford to build a a bridge across. Now, if I just pin this down so I can see where that yellow circle is, because you don't want your fishing docks to overlap. Bad things happen, specifically bad things called overfishing. That's not overlapping too much. It's not the most productive location, but it is a productive location, and that is enough. So move construction there, and that fishing dock should help provide us with additional support. Alright, we appear to have survived to the end of our very first winter. That's year 1 survived. That is the hardest year in Banished. So for the moment, I'm going to call this the end of an episode, as promised. I'm going to try and keep these short, keep them around 25-30 minutes or so. But here in the town of Last Hope, we have a basic frontier community. There's wood being cut. Really? Oh, it doesn't have enough logs, right. We've got a simple sort of outpost with 3 buildings. We've got a forester, gatherer, somewhere to store the food gathered by the forester. Sorry, by the gatherer even. It's still quite a nice area. I am going to have to knock down that storage cart since it's not actually technically needed anymore. That's the poor little cart that survived their disastrous journey. But this tiny, not even a hamlet, not technically a hamlet until it produces, until it has orchards. This barely even a thorp, let alone a village, has a hopefully bright future ahead of it. Or more accurately, hopefully it has a future ahead of it. Until next time, fare thee well. Hello, it's Eartune. Why not subscribe for more strategy and role-playing game commentary? No, really, why not? Please leave your answers in the comments, preferably after subscribing.